Okay, so today we're going to be talking about and ranking every single Susanoo that we've seen in both canonical and promotional material. Now, before we do that, I would like to ask you all to please definitely subscribe, as we're very close to 15,000 subscribers. Also, if you could definitely check out the store that we have in the description, or check the community server for public debates, we'd love to have you there. Also, stay till the end, as I'm going to talk about 4 additional mystery Uchiha and gauge their potential Susanoos and their capabilities and where they would fall on this list. Now, starting off, we have Shisui. Now, this Susanoo was not actually really seen in any canonical material, but it has been previously established that at the time of Shisui being alive, he had both Mangekyo Sharingans in both of his eyes, and was stated to be more powerful than Hitachi on multiple occasions, right? First of all, in some of the canonical novels, filling in the spots that the manga didn't really cover, it's narrated that Shisui was faster, could create fireballs so large that Itachi thought that only Shisui and his dad could make him that large, and would beat Itachi more often than not in sparring. I think one of the sparring sessions that was mentioned in the novel, they ended off being a 6-9 win in Shisui's favor. But unfortunately, I do have to put him below Itachi, because he did ultimately die at the age of 16, while Itachi had 5 more years to kind of grow stronger and improve his Susanoo at the age of 21. If he also did have access to it before he died, I would also assume that it would be more in line with the partial bodied Susanoo, the partial body armored Susanoo that we see in some promotional cutscenes, rather than the full body perfect Susanoo shown in some of the Storm games. Now, next on the list we have Itachi. Now, I already explained why I put Itachi higher than Shisui, but I thought I would kind of take a little bit of time to talk about him a little bit more individually, as he has some unique abilities that could potentially put him a little bit higher than some other people on this list based on Susanoo capability alone. Now, first of all, Itachi also has access to the partial body Susanoo, and does have the perfect Susanoo in some of the Storm games, although he's never really showcased this in any canonical material, and frankly, it wouldn't make too much sense. Maybe if losing eyesight wasn't really a problem for him, he may have been able to awaken it in the future, but we've never really seen proof that a half-blind, half-dead Itachi could do that, even after he was reincarnated by Edo Tensei. Utilizing the Susanoo, Itachi can use spirit weapons called the Yatamir and the Totsuka Blade. The Yatamir is a shield that allows Itachi to change the properties of the shield to render essentially any attack ineffective. It's kind of very similar to the concept of natural weaknesses of certain elements that render other attacks ineffective. For example, when Yamato was talking to Naruto, when he was in the development stages of creating the Rasen Shuriken, where he stated that most wind-based techniques can be neutralized by fire-style jutsus, it's the same type of principle here. Also, Itachi can access the Totsuka Blade, which plunges those that it pierces into a genjutsu world called the World of Drunken Dreams in one of the data books, and also seals them away on top of that. This combination seems to be one of the most overpowered, especially when comparing this to the other Susanoos on this list, because the other Susanoos are mainly ranked off of raw power. The reason why Itachi is much lower, though, is because there is a difference in power between him and the ones above him. So even if he was able to potentially seal them away, there's a potential for him to just be blatantly overpowered or blitz in these scenarios. But before I move on, I did also want to take a second to talk about how the Totsuka Blade was referred to by Orochimaru to be a weapon that he didn't know Itachi had possession of, which implies that it may have been obtained at one point or another. It's not really clear. Now, next we have Maduro, who easily dwarfs Itachi and Shisui in terms of power, and he's the first one on the list to canonically be able to use the perfect Susanoo. He can also use all the previous incarnations as well of this technique, including the skeletal ribcage, the humanoid, and the armored Susanoos. Obviously, Maduro would be sitting a little bit higher, as he has access to a more powerful Susanoo and can compete against all the current Kage at the time of him being reincarnated, while still being physically nerfed by the Edo Tensei technique itself. So there's not really too much to add here, besides the fact that he's just blatantly stronger and faster than those beneath him. But it does become a little bit more interesting when we start talking about those a little bit higher on the list, and that brings us to Indra Utsuki. Now, Susanoo also resembles Sasuke's, which I would like to believe is because Sasuke is a reincarnation of him, but the reason could also be because this Susanoo was first colorized in the filler anime arc, where we saw this, but we do know that he did canonically have one, as was shown in the manga, and it was obviously a perfect one. Also, we can infer how strong it was due to statements granted by Hagoromo, although we didn't really see it in action in the manga. First of all, Indra has 6-pass chakra, which automatically should put him above the majority of non-6-pass level characters, right? Ashura was also stated by Hagoromo in the manga to have been given chakra by Hagoromo, and they were also implied to be relative, both in the manga, and we got to see an altercation in the anime where they were relative as well. Hagoromo and Hamura were also able to take down a stronger Kaguya, which was already stated to be far stronger than Madara when she got revived. So due to some transitive scaling logic, we can conclude that Indra's Susanoo was much stronger than Madara's, right? But this line becomes a little bit fuzzier as we do step up a little bit higher on the list to Kakashi and Obito's Susanoo, right? Now, the reason why I say Kakashi and Obito's is because Kakashi was the one to use this Susanoo, and we've never seen Obito use a Susanoo, but the Susanoo was granted with the use of Obito's eyes, so it is technically his Susanoo. Now, in the anime and games, it's portrayed to be a blue Susanoo, but in the colored manga material, which is considered the canonical reference, it's seen as gold. Now, I do put him above Indra because although Indra was implied to be relative to Ashura, who solely got his chakra from Hagoromo, it wasn't all of his chakra, and even fully powered youthful Hagoromo also needed Hamura in the canonical version of the fight against Kaguya. And also, although she was revived weaker, she became exponentially more powerful as the fight progressed, and Kakashi easily managed to pull Sakura away from some of the Ten-Tails arms stemming from Kaguya, and was even able to Kamui Lightning Blade Kaguya while she couldn't really do anything to stop him whatsoever. So we've kind of seen evidence, although brief, he was physically able to keep up with her in terms of speed, and also had the physical capabilities of severely damaging her and anyone weaker. And that brings us to Hagoromo. Now, obviously Hagoromo is a very powerful being who has power that is sought after by even Maduro, who combined his chakra with Hashirama's to awaken a power similar to the Sage of Six Paths. But being the Sage of Six Paths himself, Hagoromo was way stronger than people like Maduro, who only aspired to gain power similar to his, and was able to do physically better against a stronger Kaguya as implied in the canonical material, and even translated in some of the filler material as well. Unfortunately, although his Susanoo is purely filler, we can hope to assume that he would still be able to utilize this, as the Sharingan came from the derivations of his chakra, so it would make sense for him to be able to utilize it as well. And also, something worthy to note is that from what we've seen in the filler material, it appears to be light blue and by far the largest as well. Obviously, the last one we got on this list is Sasuke. Of course, he'd be the only person to top Hagoromo on this list. Now, although Sasuke's perfect Susanoo is debatably weaker than Kakashi's perfect Susanoo towards the end of Shippuden, I do have a video on that one if you guys want to go check it out, he gets more powerful as we approach the Boruto franchise and the Boruto era, as he still remains relative to Naruto, who now has a completed Kurama, as he didn't have it at the end of Shippuden. We didn't see him with a completed Kurama at the end of Shippuden, but now he does, which already grants him a huge physical amp, and Sasuke stays on par that entire time. Not to mention that they've still been able to take down threats that become increasingly more and more powerful, including Toneri, Kinshiki, and Momoshiki, although the Toneri versus Kaguya debate is definitely for another video. Also, you could even include Urashiki there if you want to include some filler material as well, but the point still stands that he has now become the most powerful Sharingan user and has mastered his Susanoo to a T. Now for the 4 mystery Uchihas that I mentioned at the beginning, so these are all people who possess the Mangekyo Sharingan or currently have massive potential but have not been seen with the Susanoo itself, right? Starting out with Fugaku, he was seen to have a Mangekyo Sharingan in the anime and was feared by Hitachi to be the strongest in his clan, including himself during the time of the Uchiha massacre. He may have had a Susanoo as well, but we don't really know. If he did have one, I would assume that on this list he would be between Itachi and Shisui. We also have Izuno Uchiha, who awakened his Mangekyo Sharingan alongside Madara, but we didn't see him with a Susanoo. He would most likely be in between Madara and Itachi, because with time Madara became more powerful, and there isn't really enough concrete evidence to determine if Itachi would win solely because of his Totsuka Blade and Yata Mirror. So the exact placement is up to you guys. Next is Shin Uchiha, who is an artificial Uchiha with very real Mangekyo Sharingans, which could theoretically be used to create a Susanoo. In that case, he might be around or under Madara, but if you power scale, you could potentially put him, quite a bit higher. And finally, we have Sarada. As of making this video, she does not have a Mangekyo Sharingan, but I'm 100% certain that at one point in the future she will, and I don't doubt that she'll be one of the strongest ones. If you want to hear me talk more about the Mangekyo Sharingan, Susanoo, her future abilities, definitely check out this other video. Having said that, do me a huge favor and subscribe, as we're very close to 15,000 subscribers, as well as check out the store in the description and join the Discord community server, and I'll catch you in the next one.